Jessica, Christine, lots of great people joining us today. We're so happy that we have Chad here with us today. Just because I'm happy because I love watching your videos. They're so real. They're so raw. They're like, you really just let us see everything, which is really nice and really refreshing. And it's something that I think is rare nowadays. People aren't so open with sharing so much. And I'd love for you to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you started a YouTube channel and your little journey up until now.
Again, my name's Chad, obviously. The YouTube channel is called Kimock7, K-I-M-O-C-K, the number 7. About 10 years ago, when my son was about 10 or 11 at that time, 9 years old, I launched a YouTube page, and I was just putting up some acoustic covers of me playing songs and music and doing little things on YouTube and recording concerts and stuff. But then I began recording my son Chase, who is, about medium level autism. And some of it I'd put on YouTube, some of them I wouldn't. But one of the first ones I put up there was just him going down the sledding hill by himself, which was a first. And it was very interesting to watch him and film him, how he would be very compulsive and repetitive. He was the only one that would slide down the stairs where all the kids were going down the hill, but he preferred to go down the stairs. And that's one of my most precious videos. And fast forwarding to year 2016, I had posted a video of him and I just hanging out on the couch. And at that time, he was 16, 15 years old. He had been through extensive ABA therapy and early intervention services, and he had been nonverbal up till about age 7. So between age 7 and age 15, he began to use one-word responses if you asked him questions. So there I was sitting on the couch in 2016, and he was trying to manipulate me and be very cozy with me on the couch because he wanted to go to my friend Anthony's house. And my friend Anthony's house was a place that he associated with shooting Nerf guns with these other boys and girls that were about his age. And he had only done it one time. He had only done it about one time year prior. But even though it was a year ago, he just thought about it constantly. He associated Daddy's house with Anthony's house. And I started videotaping him, trying to keep asking me Anthony's house. For about 10 minutes, the video went on. So I used the opportunity to quiz him on spelling and mathematics. And I thought it was just the cutest video in the world, showcasing, a conversation between a dad and his 16-year-old son with autism, that you can communicate. It's just done in a different way. You can't communicate verbally. It's just done in a different way. I put it up on YouTube, and it sat there for almost 2 years, up until last fall when somebody shared it on Reddit. And then one day it got 400,000 views on Reddit. And then over the next 3 months, it went viral on Facebook and YouTube, and millions of views later. So that's really the birth of this channel going from just a little musical thing to up to 72,000 subscribers, really focusing on autism awareness and autism acceptance. And that's really how I got connected through AngelSense as well. I eventually produced a video that was about autism safety, because there were some instances back when Chase was 4 years old where he was eloping and leaving the house, and it was just terrifying. And I thought it was behoove me to get that message out there. Yeah. I think I answered the question.
Yeah, there were like a few questions in there. So I wanted to ask you, because we deal a lot with, here at AngelSense, we're the GPS trackers. So we deal a lot with these stories and these horrible, what parents have to go through is just incredible. I have a son who's high functioning, and he wears the tracker, but he's not an elopement risk. So at least I don't understand exactly what it's like. So, from a parent's perspective, to have that constant fear. And I was just wondering if you could maybe just touch on that a little bit more, just so that people that are maybe just getting diagnosed, or something that something that helped you, that comforted you, not because you don't have to talk about AngelSense if you don't want to, but something that that during those times when he was 4 years old and you had those incidents, it's like, what would be something that would have helped maybe you, that some advice that somebody could have given you that you could pass on?
Yeah, it's a great question. So in 2003, we're going way back, when Chase was 4 years old, we had just moved into a new big house in a safe neighborhood with ponds and playgrounds. Unfortunately, the pond and the playground was about a quarter to a half mile away from our home. And unbeknownst to us, we, at that time, Chase's mom and I, did not understand, have any concept of what eloping was, or that somebody with autism would have a high degree of tendency to not only leave the house unsupervised, but do it repeatedly. I'm talking every single day, possibly, potentially. And, we had thrown ourselves into the world of educating ourselves about everything you'd want to know about autism, but it was not communicated to us through seminars and books and people that we talked to that this should be something we should be weary of. And there we were on a nice summer Saturday afternoon one day, and he disappeared. And you have no idea what to do. You don't even know where to start because your child is nonverbal, and you can call the police, I guess, which we did, and you could just go running around in circles, delirious and crying, which we did, and you could just start searching for him. This is a tiny little boy at that time. He can go in a little field of grass that's 2 or 3 feet high, and you could barely see him. And there was a highway on the other side of our where we lived as well, so there was danger everywhere in terms of water, cars, people, you name it. And I wish to God I would have known back then about this, but we were so clueless. So after about a half-hour search, we found him about a half mile away at this pond, knelt at the very edge of the pond, throwing rocks in the pond repeatedly. Oftentimes a child with autism, especially if I'm speaking to any new parents here, they have an affinity for water. They have an affinity for repetitive behaviors of throwing rocks in the water and watching the ripples in the water. Just this fascination with water, and this, they're experiencing the world so much differently than you and I are. And he may have sat there and done that for 2 or 3 hours, if we couldn't find him, just that same spot. Luckily we found him, but if we would have had a tracking system like AngelSense, this would have been easily solved, but we didn't have any tracking system on him ever during his younger years, ever. We eventually put hooks and locks, hooks and nails on every single door in the house. We basically completely redesigned the doors in the house so he couldn't get out. Alarms, everything you can imagine. So that is something that I recommend for new parents, that you have to prepare your house for your child to elope if he or she has autism. Unfortunately, about 3 months later, my son did it again. Wow. And he was still able to get out of the house. He went to a neighbor's house who is a Vietnam veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder, and that veteran lives alone. He walked into their house. The veteran heard him upstairs and pulled a gun on my son.
My God.
Yeah, luckily nobody was injured. He was extremely upset. I was extremely upset. He literally put up a fence around his backyard to keep our son out of his house after that. So I guess the theme here is certainly...
It works for both of you.
Yeah, for the theme here is autism safety, eloping. Yeah. There's this window that I've learned that the child, the boy or girl with autism between ages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8, 9, they have this tendency to elope. And for some of them, it's way more extreme than my child, where it may be happening every single day. So something like AngelSense it's not only a no-brainer, it's absolutely necessary. And if I was to go back at that time and day, it would be one of the most important things I could do for the safety and peace of mind for me and my family and for my son. And I want to say this yesterday because it just happened yesterday. I'm listening to the radio, and there's a gentleman driving around in a white van on the south side of Chicago trying to kidnap children between ages like 4 to 9, whether they are disabled or not. So something like AngelSense is, I think, could not only be helpful for a child with autism, but any child, whether they have autism or not, for just for that safety purposes, kidnappings, you name it.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us. You can tell it's coming back.
It's terrible. There's nothing more terrifying in my life experiences than someone could say, okay, my child's missing, but when your child's missing and they're nonverbal and they have medium functioning autism, it's just terrible. Terrible.
Well, thank you. Wow. Okay. I want to ask the next question. It's just let's just say hi to a few people while we're waiting. We have some more people that joined us. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, everybody.
Anne Marie, Nofar, Javi's online saying hi.
Good morning, everybody.
Thanks so much for joining us today again, and thank you, Jen. I just want to remind everybody what your YouTube channel is called, and it is Kimock7. So if you want to look, I just put it up on the screen there, Kimock7 on YouTube. You can follow him along with all those other tens of that 72,000 now? Something
like that.
Okay, that's impressive. Good job.
Thank you. I give all the credit to my son. The channel would be much smaller without him.
Does he know? Does he realize what?
Absolutely.
Does he know how famous he is?
Yeah. Could he express it? No, but he knows.
Okay. And you have another son.
I have a daughter who's about a year older than Chase. So yeah, those are my two children.
Okay, and so what does she feel about this? About you being?
She has mixed feelings about. Whenever you're in the public eye, it becomes you're letting go of a lot of your privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's certainly adjustments. It's kind of a love-hate relationship,
Right.
Obviously, the videos I create show Chase in just a fantastic light. Just him enjoying his Saturday afternoon with his dad and exposing the world to the bright side of autism, that here's a teenage boy that is so happy and so enjoying life. And autism is not a sentence of isolation. It's not a disability that does not allow the person to communicate. There's so many misconceptions and stereotypes, and I think Chase really helps re-educate the public worldwide just by being himself. I'm just videotaping him. Yeah, I have some commentary and comments, and I answer a lot of parental questions. But in the end, it's him just being himself that has resonated with the public.
Yeah, it's really, really nice to see, and that's something that I mean, everybody thinks their kids are the most special kids in the whole world, but they are. But thanks for letting us letting us, the world, peek into your life. So
yeah, really nice. when your son is nonverbal for so long, 7 long years of nonverbalness, and then he suddenly begins to ask questions and answer questions. I mean, you're blown away as a parent. You're floored.
I can't even imagine how you would react. Like how you would.
I always tell people it's compared to that movie called Awakening, where somebody just comes out of a coma or mental disability and they suddenly start speaking. You realize that they always had so much going on up here, but you just never could tell. So I really tried to educate the community lately, especially new parents, that autism is not of lack of input. It is a certain degree of inability to verbally communicate what's going on upstairs here. They have everything that you and I have, and more, in fact. Chase can spell it better than I can.
I agree. If there's anything math related, I let my son deal with it. Just tell me what the answer is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's great. So you recently started something new that you've been talking about on your channel, and I think it's interesting. We're not promoting any lifestyle to anyone, but Chad would like to share a little bit about this. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and some of the results that you found.
I've been a marathon runner since 2007. I've been a physically active person most of my adult life, and that it goes ups and downs and peaks and valleys. Now at age 47, you really start to see your metabolism starts to slow down, your testosterone starts to slow down. And I've noticed, a change in my energy levels especially the last 5 years or so. But I've studied this and I've read books and I've educated myself on the effects of different diets on the brain, our moods, our digestive system, our insulin levels. The list goes on and on and on and on, that we truly are what we eat. It affects not only the way we look, but the way we feel, the way we think, and the way we perceive the world. And I have gone so far as to truly study what's called the ketogenic diet, which I don't like to use the word diet because it's simply a different way of eating. Like, I'm not going on a diet, but change the way I'm eating. Do I have a certain motivation of losing some pounds? Sure, we all do. But my real motivation is to have a different lifestyle of energy level, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. During that time, which is going on about 2 months of studying, I've also watched a documentary that's readily available on YouTube. Trying to think, I think it's called The Magic Pill. Yeah, I think it's called The Magic Pill. You could just search on YouTube, autism and keto diet. You'll find different things. So part of this documentary features a young girl who's it's pretty severe autism, truly nonverbal, living on breaded fried chicken nuggets and those little fish crackers, living on them. Mm. And I can relate to this because Chase is my son with autism. His eating habits those first 10 years were horrendous. I mean, the child with autism has just typically terrible eating habits. And as a parent, you just get so frustrated because you put things in front of them, but you can't force it down. And the person with autism is so rigid. It's so aggravating for the parents sometimes. And we tried a gluten casein-free diet for 2 years to see if it would increase his speech delays, his complete lack of any verbal output. And then we eventually gave up on that. We didn't see any change in it. So fast forwarding again, going into today. Yeah. So what I've undertaken, and before I talk about myself, I just want to say right off the bat that my son's diet, at least when he's with me, is not the greatest. I mean, he lives on ginger ale and flamin' red hot chips, and he likes meat, any meat, chicken, beef, pork. Those are his 3 favorites. Sometimes he'll eat vegetables, sometimes he won't. So everything, my son, who's 18 and a half now, almost 19, everything that he eats, in my experience, in my education, is going to affect his mood, his degree of stimming, his degree of verbal output. Everything going on in the brain is controlled by what can be manipulated to a certain degree by what the diet is. So for this documentary, they put this girl on the keto diet, and within a month, she improved her behaviors in many levels, many different categories, improved 55 to 75%. She began speaking. She was more calm. And I've been on this diet for 2 weeks now. Today's the 2-week anniversary of me being on the keto diet. So what I've noticed about myself, and I'm going to create my own little mini documentary and put it up on Kimock7, my YouTube page. What I've noticed in myself is a degree of calmness a tremendous degree of calmness, much deeper sleep patterns, less anxiety, far more energy, less hunger, less compulsiveness. The list goes on and on and on. It's improved my life by 500%. Every single day I've been on it. Like it's like this all my senses are firing on a different degree. My hearing's better, my sight's better, my attention span is better. If you're dealing with somebody with attention deficit disorder. So for somebody with autism, I could already see how this could help Chase. It could help him stay more focused, be more patient, more calm, less moving around, less compulsive. Chase.
When are you starting him on the
this becomes a real problem because Chase primarily lives with his mother, and how do I sell this to his mom now? How do I communicate to her that this could be something incredibly wonderful for our son? And I don't know if they'll be able to do that. All I can do is certainly. Yeah, I think when you push something on somebody, especially when it's your ex. Good luck. But what I'm telling you and the audience here is it's not something that is a big secret. I think a lot of parents with autism may or may not know about it, but for those that don't, it's simply a diet plan that's high in meat, high in vegetables, and healthy fats, avocados, and it's very low in sugar and flour. In fact, it's not very low. It doesn't have any sugar or flour in its diet. So I have not any sugar or flour in my diet for 2 weeks. And I don't miss it. And my life is wonderful, and I feel tremendous. And I can only see this benefiting anybody with some sort of learning disability, or it's been known to cure epilepsy symptoms. Well documented. So I think there will be a future of autism where parents will be encouraged to put their children on this from a very early age. We're actually all coming to this world as infants in ketosis, which means our body feeds not off sugar, but we introduce sugar to everybody in the American diet, and then we live off that sugar and insulin levels the rest of our life. Because sugar is unfortunately in everything, which I've quickly finding out. Sugar and corn syrup. So I think
thanks for explaining it. A lot of people will hear what you have to say. They can follow you on your YouTube channel and see your progress, and hopefully it will make a difference in Chase's life also. And I hope that you're able to see the results with that, with him, and keep us updated, because you're the one going through it first for us.
We're switching him. I'm not promoting anything, but this is a sugar-free ginger ale. He loves ginger ale. So when he comes to my house next weekend, we're switching him to sugar-free ginger ale to this artificially sweetened ginger ale, which tastes identical to regular ginger ale. We're going to see if he even notices any difference. So, but thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Wow. And good luck with congratulations on the progress. And we can't wait to see how it goes.
Me too.
Okay, so that's great. We have some people are just, nobody's really asking any questions related to your way of living, but I'm just going to say, for people that are there, to please go to his YouTube channel at Kimock7, and you can ask him questions there on his videos. And you also do you do lives on Facebook, or do you do live on YouTube?
I've primarily gone live when I'm live on the internet on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
But because with that many subscribers, I can reach so many more people. Sometimes I do Facebook. Either way, it's the same concept. So. But anyone has any questions ever, they can email me at kimock@comcast.net, real easy to remember, or certainly message me on the Facebook page, which if you go on Facebook and just search Kimock Autism Vlog, Kimock7 Autism Vlog, it's easy to find.
Yeah,
I answer
thanks.
questions
Okay.
on there every single day from all over the world.
Yeah, I bet. So I wanted to just ask one last question. It is Father's Day this month, and there is something really special about a father who's involved with their kids' lives that have autism. And it's not something that's taken for granted. And it's really, really lovely to see. And I'd like to just ask you to maybe give some sort of advice, encouragement, something to fathers specifically that maybe are going through the diagnosis, like what can they do? What can just, I'll let you talk. I'm sure you have something great to say.
Yeah, it's a great question. Unfortunately, marriages, families with autism, 80% of them end in divorce. And the children are usually then raised by the mother. And oftentimes, sadly enough, a high degree of the fathers become uninvolved, maybe to the level where they don't even visit with the child. And unfortunately, a lot of divorces may happen when that child is ages 2, 3, 4, 5, and the father didn't have that opportunity or motivation or desire, whatever it is, to truly educate himself about autism. I hate to call it a disorder, but I'm just going to say autism.
Yeah.
That education is so critical. And in today's day and age, I think it's so much easier than when I was back in year 2000, 2001, 2002. Because of the internet, because of live chats like this and YouTube, it's so easy to educate yourself about autism and to
Yeah.
find a bright side of autism. You know, as a father and as a mother, you really have to let go of all these dreams and preconceptions of what parenthood would be like once your child is diagnosed. Once your child is diagnosed, it becomes this whole new adventure, a new chapter in your life. And it starts literally that day in the neuropsychologist's office when they look you in the eye. Or you go to a second one and they tell you the same thing. And you go to a third one and they tell you the same thing. Yep, your child has autism. And you have to accept it, embrace it, educate yourself. You have to love that child unconditionally and realize that you chose to bring a child into this world, and it is your responsibility to raise that child, even if you're the father. Okay, it is not the mother's responsibility. It's equal, and you have to, divorced or not, you have to figure out a way to co-parent. And with the child with autism, it's even more important. That child, to the degree that I've influenced my son, I've heavily influenced who he is just by being myself and loving him for who he is, staying active in his life. I'm not the primary custodian or parent. So I've been visiting with him for many, many years, 14 years. We divorced when Chase was 5 or 6 years old. So if I'm to emphasize some things here on Father's Day, is the father absolutely has to stay involved. The father, it's so critical for your child's future to love your son or daughter unconditionally, embrace, educate yourself. Don't try and do it alone. There's a lot of support groups out there. There's YouTube. I answer fathers' questions all the time. There was one that messaged me down in South Florida, 25 years old, 25-year-old Hispanic man that was just beside himself. He can't relate to his son. He's devastated. He can't find any bright side to this. So he started messaging me and he said, your videos, just your videos, just that one thing have taken him in a completely different full circle. Because he sees that, even though my 4 and 5-year-old right now is completely nonverbal and isolated and doesn't even respond to his name and no eye contact, that there could be such a bright future. That the father to the child with autism needs to stay so patient and vigilant in early intervention services. I'm a huge proponent of ABA services, okay? And I'm not shy about it. Without Chase's ABA therapy, he would not be who he is today. Our end responsibility as a parent is to prepare that child for adulthood. I want to stress and emphasize that. Our responsibility as a parent, my parents' responsibility raising me, was to prepare me for adulthood. Adulthood for the person with autism, that may or may not start until their mid-20s. But so be it. For me, it was like, I'm 18 years old, go out there in the world, make something of yourself, go to college, and you're on your own, And if you don't prepare that child for adulthood, then you're going to have a son or daughter with autism in their 20s and 30s that's operating at a very low level. Socially, emotionally, verbally.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that as parents, even if they're not, I have 2 children also, and also a divorced family, and the whole village idea of everybody around you supporting you and everybody working together for the better of the children is something that's so important to remember as parents, as the ones that are guiding our children. And just as much effort as we would put into our neurotypical children, we have to put actually a little more effort sometimes into the other ones. And it really is a village, and it takes all of the ABA therapy, and it takes all of the the teachers and the cooperation and checking up and all the meetings and everything. And it really does. It's going to make a difference in their lives. It has to, and it's really exciting to watch. I'm just going back to you sharing everything about Chase, and it's really nice to just watch progress, and then also just to share it with people so that they can see that being involved in every little thing that you can make a difference in their lives, and every little thing that you can help change or just tweak a little bit can make a huge difference. So I think that's really amazing. So thanks.
Absolutely. He knows that I've always accepted him for who he is. Mm-hmm. And because he knows that, he loves being with me. I love being with him. There's this degree of love and respect and understanding. And because of that, he's such a happy person. The alternative to that would just be a nightmare. Unfortunately, there are a lot of fathers out there that deny. They live in denial. They think about themselves rather than their kids.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a positive shout out to the father of my children, who is very involved and does a very good job with keeping up to date with what's going on and helping out. So just want to make sure that that's out there. Yeah. I don't have a YouTube channel to talk about it.
I think the more positive role model fathers out there raising disabled kids, the better in the public eye. So I put myself out there in the public eye, and I am far from perfect, but I'm doing what I can in terms of a positive, just like Autism Daddy, just like Fathering Autism. And I think it's making, I know it's making a huge positive impact. If I can motivate one dad out there who is unsure what to do, then I've succeeded. That's it. Yeah. Just one. Yeah. If I could just change one dad to stay active in their son's life, even though their son is severely autistic, then we've achieved our goal. It's about autism awareness, acceptance, and education. That our children are the byproduct of us. Who else would they be byproducts of? So, I want to stress this. Okay. I want to stress something. One more thing here too, because I've been lucky. Chase has been lucky in that we always have been able to get exceptional services for them, and we paid for it oftentimes. Mm-hmm. We spent a life fortune before he was 5 years old. We spent his college education monies before he was 5 years old. Private in-home ABA services, taking him there, taking him here, people coming in our home all week long, using attorneys, lawyers, doctors to sue school districts for due process to make sure he gets the correct IEP. You have to be very vigilant and active. And for the father, it's a huge part of it. You have to embrace it. If you're not a team with the mother, your wife, hopefully, it could be a real challenge. And if your child starts to fall behind, and I've witnessed a lot of that the last couple of years, then you're in trouble. That the opportunity for the brain to develop connections for verbal speech before age 10 is critical, because after age 10, it's going to be so much harder. So those first 10 years are everything. There you go.
So we have a comment that I want to address. Anna says, my son is so aggressive and seems angry a lot, and I feel ABA services aren't enough. I need more. Do you have any advice for her?
Yeah, this comes up a lot. All I could do is answer these questions from my perspective and then talk about a couple other subjects. So number one, Chase has never been aggressive. He's never bitten me. He's accidentally hit me a couple times when he would be having a meltdown. And it's a subject that parent needs to research it as much online as possible. A lot of parents that I come in contact lately are turning to CBD oil, the non-medicated version of the cannabis plant that's harmless, and that is helping their children tremendously. I never had to do that for Chase. Chase has never been medicated at all, not even once. But I've come in contact with several parents lately that have seen miraculous results by using the CBD oil. I do also want to stress that the child with autism goes through different stages as they develop. So one of those stages, unfortunately, may be a period of some outbursts that may be perceived as violence, as hitting or biting. I'm not an expert on the topic. I think if you have to live in the home with that person day in and days out, 7 days a week, you also have to care for yourself and your safety. Because if your boy is 6'1", 200 pounds, and he has a tendency for violence, that you have to do whatever is safe for you. And I don't know what that answer is. I'm not a big proponent of medicating the child with autism. I'm not, especially any pharmaceutical, unnatural drugs. I just would never. Chase's mom and I, we spoke many times over the years and about different things we could do, but in the end, what we would be doing would be using our child as a guinea pig, as a test pilot. Okay,
just want to keep it a little neutral. So whatever works for some things will work. So will work for different people, and for some people, medication might be the only option. And I just want to
correct.
It's really individual, and I think I would address her comment with, from my experience. If something's not working, then you have to find, you shift, you find something else that might work. If that's not working, you shift, you adjust, shift, and just try to keep moving forward and try to see what's going to work for them. And there's so many different options. And
I will say this, which goes back to what I said earlier. I would put that child on a strict diet. It's very low in sugar whatsoever. Yeah. The sugar could have a tremendous effect on their energy levels and their spikes of mood throughout the day.
Yeah. I mean, my son with autism is diabetic, so we have not a lot of sugar in the house, but I definitely see the effects of sugar immediately with him. Not just because of the diabetes, but just because he's a boy. He's a kid eating sugar. So
obviously, I think there's certain triggers that create certain behaviors. So if there's a trigger that does it, maybe it's. I'm a big proponent of wearing the noise canceling headphones, so they're calmer. That changed Chase's world and life once he started wearing those. He was so much calmer and peaceful in the home and in public.
Yeah, that could be a lot of time. I see aggression is just the way that they're expressing themselves because they're not able to express themselves properly, and that it might be frustration. So there might be something going on. You might want to check with the people that are around him, that are in his everyday life, to see maybe something is triggering it. Maybe there's something that's bothering him and he just can't express it. So it's definitely something to just keep digging and never give up, and always looking for answers, and always look for something.
That's great advice
To help them. So thanks.
Absolutely. There's videos on YouTube on this topic, so I would just search those keywords, and there's a huge degree of information on the internet. Thank goodness.
Yeah, there really is. Great. So I just want to, again, thank you. We're going to sign off for the day. Thanks so much for coming on and joining us. And we're going to keep watching you and Chase, and good luck with everything. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Sidra.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for all that you do at AngelSense. I have the GPS tracker right here, and I think it's just wonderful, and I recommend it. Obviously, I talk about it in my videos. I've done a couple of videos about AngelSense, and I love the partnership I have with you, and you're doing so much good for the autism community.
Thanks. It's really nice, and I don't know if people know this, but AngelSense was started by a father, and he started AngelSense with his business partner because his son was being abused on a bus, and they weren't able to figure out how to help him, and this is how it all started, and it's really important for me just to let people know that the whole company is made up of parents of children with special needs, and they really like to support the community, and if you talk to customer support, you're talking to a mom who we hired from our user base. So everyone that answers the phone, everyone that you're on live chat with on Facebook and on our website, it's all moms that we took from our user base that now work for us. So it's really beautiful, and it's such a nice feeling to be in the community and help the community and just make a difference, really. And for the children, it's all about the children. It's all about children and safety.
When you could do that and make it your profession at the same time, wow.
I know, there's nothing better. So
that's exciting.
It's great.
Thank you so much, Sidra.
Thanks, and thanks everyone for joining us today. Hope you have a lovely day and a great month for Father's Day. We're going to be I'm just going to do a little AngelSense plug. We're going to be live doing a giveaway on Father's Day with a surprise guest. I'm not going to say who yet. And we're going to give away a free AngelSense device and 1 year of service. So, I'll put up the link soon on the page, and everybody can enter. And again, thanks for joining us. And
thank you, Sidra.
We'll catch you later.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.